What is up, y'all? It is your host, Renny, and you're listening to another episode of the Call Me Crazy podcast.
Renny, what up, what up, what up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just vibing out.
Just vibing out. Honestly, I gotta do a little disclaimer. Vibrations are a little low. They're a little low.
I feel you.
High off of last night, low off of this morning.
Right.
You know, travel ain't perfect. Something will arise. But when you have an incredible organizer who is ready to pick up the pieces,
Right.
it really soothes my soul what you did for me. So just know if you're ever on a JetBlack travel trip, if anything goes awry, Alex will have you.
We got y'all. We got y'all, for sure.
So for a little bit of context, I can't believe I'm in the homeland right now. It probably happens often for you, but this is my first time to Africa.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, first time to Africa, first time to Senegal, which is where I'm from in Africa. So it's really crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Like I was actually telling some of the travelers yesterday, like actually go on Google Maps and take a look at where Senegal is. It's like the most western tip of West Africa, which I think that's really special. Like,
Yeah.
we're literally on
The
border.
pinnacle,
The pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane. The views are incredible. The people are amazing. I mean, the food, the everything. And also, I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
is it always a vibe? Like, do the personalities always mesh, or? Because it feels, the synergy is feeling great in this group.
Yeah.
And I am not a people person. I'm usually a one-on-one person. I deal with so many people during business that I like to just keep it either alone or like a one-on-one kind of situation.
Yeah.
So is it always like this?
For the most part, it is. There are like 1 or 2 trips. So we started in 2018.
Okay.
There are like 1 or 2 trips where it's like, oh, there's a little bit of conflict, you know, but most of our trips, it's usually a vibe. And the reason why this trip is actually special is because this is the first trip where this is the most amount of travelers that we actually had that have like returned from past trips. So I don't know if you peeped, but literally like
Def Shelly. I know Shelly been around.
They've been talking literally for the past like few months. I'm like, dang, they know each other. So the first night everybody just clicked. You know, so it's crazy because that's actually one of the goals. It's like, because JetBlack Travel Group, we do it in a way where there's gonna be a time where, you know, if you come on trips consistently with us, you're gonna start seeing the same people because we keep our numbers really, really small for the most part. So imagine you come back on a trip and it's like, there are 5 people that you were on this trip with. It's like, oh, we're becoming a travel family now.
Yes,
so it's pretty dope.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what started first? Was it to just like take it back a little bit? So you are Alex.
I'm Alex. What's up,
Hello. And what do you call yourself? Are you an owner? Are you a founder? Like,
man, so it's funny. These titles are very interesting to me. I usually use like the term executive director, you know, so I pretty much direct the operations because JetBlack has so many different parts. So I direct the operations, the day-to-day operations of JetBlack Travel. I did start the company in 2018. And so we have a lot of different moving pieces. You know, we have our marketers, we have our...
I was like, who's talking?
Yeah. I hope it's still like...
it'll be good.
Yeah, they're kind of loud.
Yeah.
They're mad loud.
They are loud.
Nah, but because it has a lot of moving pieces, you know, it's kind of, you gotta have somebody that kind of just understand each piece and helps to kind of like optimize each piece, you know. So I'm the director.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your team, how many people do you have helping out with this?
Yo, so take a guess. How many people does it feel like?
It feels like Saram, Teddy, you, and then whoever your connect is in the spot you're at, and that's it. And it's crazy. That's what it feels like just off of like the looks of it, but I'm like, he has to have someone else managing the rest.
Yeah, it's like you can't
be here and also be corresponding in the other group chats and in the other.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. So we do have a team. You know, thank God for Teddy and Saram. So Teddy and Saram actually joined this year, and they pretty much help us with our media operations, and they're really, really good. I feel so grateful to have them on the team. But like outside of this, we actually have. I mean, I usually say a large team because we're operating with partners like Dabo. So in Zambia, you know, our partner is Amanda and Evaristo. In South Africa, it's Rhonda and Maurice. So all these different countries, they're the ones, like, honestly, I give them the credit because they're the ones that operationalize everything, and we just bring the people.
Right.
You know, so in terms of like people who work directly with JetBlack, we have Teddy Saram, we have Doreen. She's our accounts manager. So when you're making payments, if you can't go on the trips, if you have something with your account, she'll handle that. We have Dr. Beeler. She's actually our accountant, and she's a beast. She's a monster, you know. So this is kind of just like the team and the core group of people that we have that does it for us, you know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty lit. It takes a lot of I still do a lot. I still do a lot of the oversight, but it's hard to like take yourself out your own business.
I know. Like the list is always never ending.
Yeah.
But you also don't just do this.
Nah, that's the crazy. I think I'm a little insane. Right?
Yeah.
I'm a little crazy, but it drives me.
So what else do you do?
Okay, so by training, I'm a pharmacist. So I went to Howard Pharmacy School. I did my residency. I did a training at Howard, my fellowship training at Rutgers. So I have medical background. I know about drugs and all that stuff, but I started another company called Réseau Docteur, which in French, it literally means Doctors Network.
Okay.
And I started that in 2015 with two of my good friends, and literally like the thought of that was just so we can actually see more Black excellence on social media. Because I don't know if you remember 2015, that was the time where there were so many people getting killed. You know, it's like yo, like, and then you know, we become a hashtag, right? So it's like that's cool, it's proactive, but the question then becomes like, how do we actually, because I believe that it's a psychological thing. How do we actually reverse the psychological impact?
How do we uplift?
Uplift, exactly. So I started flooding social media with Black doctors, like flooding. And you know, like thankfully I went to Howard, so I know a lot of nurses in the nursing school, dentists, so I have like a directory of like medical professionals. And then when we got to like 5,000 followers, like people started reaching out to us, like, you know, post us, do this, do that. And there weren't anybody really doing that at that time. We grew over 100,000 followers in like 2.5 years. And it's still growing to this day. And it's like, you know, in 2018 when JetBlack started, that's when I linked up with a good friend of mine. He has a very, very vast connection network all over the world, and we decided to take people to Cuba, and that was lit. You know, that's kind of what, because I did a lot of solo travel, but that's what opened my eyes to group travel. I'm like, oh, so Black professionals want to travel too.
Yeah.
You know, so we did Cuba. It was 52 of us. Then we did Colombia in January. It was like 48, and then that's when JetBlack Travel just boom.
So how many trips do you do like in a year?
So I do like, right now we have 12 a year.
And you're on every single one?
Every single trip. And I still work. My
eyes twitchy.
It's crazy, right? Yo, you know what's crazy, Renny? My friend actually, he's a podiatrist. He hit me up when we came back from Dubai. And he was like, yo, bro, how do you travel so much? And like, I realized that question is pretty interesting because there's certain things in life that actually, like, that energizes people, right? Like, he could be doing something that energizes him. I can be doing something that energizes me. And I was thinking, I was like, yo, to travel once a month, not like domestically, like internationally, it takes a crazy toll on your body.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't feel that a lot of times. And I don't know why, yo. But I just feel like I'm operating.
It's your purpose. Yeah. It's obviously your purpose. I always say, like, travel energizes me. It gives me a sense of perspective that I'm always humbled by, right? Especially international.
Right.
And then, but what recharges me is definitely alone time, being home with my dogs, having a routine where I wake up at 6 a.m., go to the dog park, answer emails, like very, very low key.
Yeah.
So I can have energy for things like this.
That's real.
That's just how I work. But truly, I think when you find your purpose and you're moving within that purpose, it doesn't feel like work. So that's why we overwork and that's why we keep going, because like it really is your purpose. I really truly believe that like you are meant to do this, and that's why you don't feel it that much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, we can talk about purpose all day long, and you know, your true purpose will actually energize you. You know, I really do believe that. You know, and I think even if you have other things that are going on, like it will, like that will be the fuel that you need to do whatever it is that you want to do. And I remember, I think you mentioned that, you know, now you're a full-time entrepreneur. I don't know how long you've been doing it, but literally even with that, now you're working like way more than you're working as a 9 to 5.
Oh. 100%, 100%, yeah. And the thing is like when I had the normal jobs, I still was doing the side hustles.
Really?
Oh yeah. You know, even like picking up nannying shifts from old clients and doing that like at night, and then going ahead and working on my content, working on my YouTube videos. So I've never had that, okay, work is done, so I'm done for the day, because I always wanted to do more. Like I was like, okay, but let me work on my YouTube channel. Okay, well, let me do this, let me do that. And then obviously like I have dogs and, you know, other beings to take care of. So, you know, I've never really, I want to say since like, when did I start working? Like 13 years old. Like I haven't stopped since.
That's crazy.
It's just kind of transitioned into different ways. And now it's so fulfilling because my whole day is dedicated to my business, whereas you're working or providing a service for someone that, you know, might not be in your life for the rest of your life, right? The chances of them being with you, let's say, for example, a personal training client. I'm training you to not need me. I don't train people to need me for the rest of their lives.
You do personal training too?
Yeah.
All right, so I need to understand everything that you do, if possible, because that's crazy. I didn't know that.
I started off in the service industry, you know, 13, 15 years old. I was working as a cashier and a manager of my mom's ex-boyfriend's restaurant. So that was like my first, you know, getting into the working world. I would manage everyone's schedules, but then also be like the face of the restaurant. It was a chicken joint, takeout kind of thing. After that, I got into retail. First week I was at Aldo Shoes. I was the highest performing part-time worker over the full-time. So I was highest performing sales over part-time, over anyone who was full-time, over my managers, over everyone. Then I was there for a few months. I didn't like how I was always on my feet. Like you can't sit down when you're selling shoes. You gotta be in cute shoes and you gotta be standing up the whole day. And I got an email for a position as a store manager, assistant store manager in this ritzy town, Greenwich, near me. And that was at age 15. I was an assistant store manager, 15 through 17.
Was that was that legal or was it?
It was not legal, no. Okay. And then, and me being full time was even more illegal at that age.
Wow.
But it was great. I loved working there. The experience I gained there. I mean, I was walking into the bank with a deposit from a store, and they were looking at me like, what is this child doing here? Like,
that's crazy. You
know, like closing out my registers, doing the deposit in the morning, like even my mom, she was like, you sure? And I was like, they emailed me, like,
that's
crazy. So
you've like learned work ethic at a very
very young age. I mean, I remember when I grew up as a child model and an actress, so I remember even like at my castings, like massaging the moms, like while we're all waiting to do an audition, and like getting a little tip here.
Man, the grind starts early.
Single digit ages. Yeah, the grind starts early for sure. So I wear a lot of hats, but that goes to say, like, you know, I don't want my clients with me forever. Who knows if they're going to be with me forever, right? But I know I am. So the fact that I get to work on my business every day, like, I could have a 16-hour day and I don't care because I know all that time went into my legacy, right?
Yeah,
Not someone else's.
That's crazy. That's a crazy thought. Yeah.
Like nannying someone else's kid that I'm not going to know in 2 years, like pouring my heart, my knowledge into this child that will not be in my life. Like, it felt so wrong to me. I love that I'm here. I love that, like, if you didn't have me, you would probably have a nanny who didn't care so much about you. But on the same token, like, you're not my child, and this is not something that, like, I can take with me, you know?
For sure.
So, yeah, the switch to fully working for myself, it's that same way.
That's crazy. I had a follow-up question because now learning more about you and kind of what you do, it's like, with you doing all these different things, like, how do you gotta find a way to stay grounded, right? What is your mantra? Let me turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah, it's getting low. So I would say, like, kind of like what I said before, right? Mm-hmm. That solo time is so pivotal to me. Like, if you notice, whenever we have any downtime, I'm almost never with the group. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in my room, like, just, like, relaxing, like, even just silence, like, not, like, I don't even have to be listening to music or a podcast, like, just, like, silence to, like, you know, I was talking to Naeem about that the other day. He's always checking on me. He's like, what's your social battery at right now?
Ooh, that's a great question. What is your social battery at right now?
Yeah. So, like, he was checking on me at the club. I was like, I took a nap. I'm, like, at 50. He was like, oh, that's good.
Listen,
like, yeah, for being out all day. We were out all day. Then we had a little blip, and then we went back out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just that solo time. And if I'm not solo, it's me and my dogs. My dogs. We had this conversation the first day.
Spirit
is the only thing I love unconditionally.
That's crazy.
The only beings. No, fuck that.
That's crazy.
Fuck that. I would die for my mother. Do I love her unconditionally? No.
Okay, so I guess that the question then becomes, like, when you say, like, it's the only being that you love unconditionally, like, meaning that you will do anything,
okay, right? So I feed them, right? I take care of them. I love on them. I do everything for my dogs. I always say it's the dogs, the business, and then Renny. Okay. So when I'm making my schedule, the dogs come first, the business comes second, and then Renny does just the 4 S's. So that's smoke, shit, sleep, and sometimes shower.
Okay, shit. That's okay. What?
You know what I mean? So, yeah, you know, the dogs come first, and with the dogs coming first, it also soothes my soul. So I'm like, you know, I'm a work junkie. So if I can go to the dog park for 2 hours, see my dog, like, jumping around, have the biggest smile on their face, tongues out their tongue, they can't even, and I was just doing emails for an hour and then read my book for maybe 30 minutes, like, I'm fulfilled. Wow. Like, it's everything to me. Yeah.
That's kind of like, that's flipped on its head because, you know, right now in society, we have this thing where it's, the notion of self-love, right? Mm-hmm. You know, love yourself, you come first and put yourself first. Like, what do you think about that and the way that we perceive that as a society? Because you're putting your dogs first, then your business, then yourself. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the rest of the world will have it the other way around. What are your thoughts on that?
So I love the self-care community. You know, the really, I mean, everything with social media is amplified, right? So there are some unrealistic kind of mantras out there when it comes to self-care that I don't think are necessarily too productive. Yeah, for sure. It's not always going to be a face mask for someone. It's not always going to be, you know, it's different for everyone. So finding what helps you, I think, is most important. I want to do this at some point. I want to be a life coach at some point. People ask me all the time. So I wouldn't prescribe my method of life to any, you know, life coach client. But I will say, like, coming from where I'm from, I understand why I'm like this. And I have weekly therapy sessions to make me not like this.
Where, oh, so, okay, so you don't, that's interesting because, so you don't think it's the most productive?
I think it's the most productive. Do I think it's the best to do as a human being? Probably not. Like, I wouldn't prescribe it to anyone. It is the most productive way to, like, go about life. I definitely think that I get a lot of shit done, and I do it well. But I would say to take more time for yourself. I try here and there. And, like, something like this was really big for me to do for myself. Like, growing up in starvation mindset, this chunk of change for solely me is not something I do often, right? So trying to implement little things like that. I also started having a massage once a month. So 60-minute massage once a month. I found my girl. Shout out to Vanessa at Massage Envy in Norwalk. She does incredible work. So that's what I started. Like, that's a little thing I implemented. More traveling.
That's dope. That's dope. That's really
dope. So just like little gifts for me personally. Yeah. That's
dope. No, I like the fact that you're really, really into self-care because, yo, the world is stressful. It's so stressful. And that's one of the things that, you know, what traveling does, at least one of the reasons that I really do appreciate travel is because you get to see how simple life really is. You know, my mom sent me a video yesterday while we were here, and literally it was this girl who was literally, like, I want to show you the video, but she was literally like, my mom said, look how grateful she is. Because in other countries, like, they're not into, like, all the things we're into. It's like life is really, really simple. So, you know, being able to go somewhere else and see how the majority of the world, because for some people, you know, people in America think that, like, that's the world, and the truth of the matter is that, like, the United States represents literally 4% of the global population. Like, literally, bro, it's like, yo, America is great, but America is very insignificant relative to the global population. So the question then becomes, like, how is the world really living their lives? A lot of people don't have, but you can see how having so little can actually lead to the most fulfillment. And that's kind of, you know, that if there's one thing that humbles me, it's that. Like, the video that my mom sent me, I was in tears yesterday. I was like, yo, this is actually crazy. You know, and it taught me that, yo, just be grateful for what you have. Like, I really do believe if you have clothes, you know, food, clothes, shelter, and if you have love around you, yo, that's kind of like the foundation of everything else. Right. You know? But we live in a society where we want more, and, like, there's a there's a quote, there's a book that I study, it's called A Course in Miracles, and there's a quote in it where it says that, you know, be totally committed to every experience and completely unattached to the outcome. You know, so, like, whatever experience that you have in your life, commit yourself to that experience, but unattach yourself from things, because that's what drives us crazy. You know, so.
No, truly, I feel like the more grateful I became for the little things, the more good I attracted. Yeah. And it was just like waking up and just being so great. Like, just, my life goes so fast. Like, you should have seen, like, what I had lined up until the day we left. Like, I literally filmed a podcast the day I was hopping on a plane. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just so crazy. And I haven't even, like, reveled in the fact of, like, oh my God, like, my birthday happened. I found, you know, I felt and found so much love that I didn't have on my birthday last year. Now, you know, now we're straight to this trip pretty much, and we're here. Like, I oftentimes don't get a moment to, you know, be grateful, but when I do, I'm just like, for the little shit, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I don't have to be anywhere, right? Like, that's a crazy thing. Right. Like, oh my God, I'm at the dog park and I'm on my therapy call. Like, that's a crazy thing, you know? Like, 5 years ago, you had to go somewhere to do therapy, and that gave me so much anxiety. I'm like, my schedule is already so scheduled. Like, anything that I do for me, I didn't want to, like, stress out about getting there. So it's just really I really, really, truly believe the more you're grateful about the small things, the bigger wins start coming to you.
It's a while, and I don't know what because there has to be something about it, right? Like there are people who I know who like it's very hard for them to let go of money, right? Let go of like the things that they have, right? And just give. And I don't know what it is, but it's like I tweeted something one time where it was like, yo, if you want something, you have to be willing to let it go, right? I mean, how can you receive if your hands is closed?
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, you know, you actually have to make giving a practice, because it's not one of those things like, yeah, I give today. It's like, no, you have to become giving, you know. You gotta let shit go. You gotta be willing to give to others, and then for some weird reason, the universe always has a way of returning it back to you, you know. So I really do believe that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I always say, like, give with intention and not to receive anything back. And when you do, it'll come back in a different way, right? Like, it might not be in the form that you think, but let's say you take your homegirl out to dinner when she's down bad. Like, she might be the one to answer the phone when you're crying. You know, it doesn't have to be in the same way, but it will come back around. It doesn't even have to be from that same person, right? It will come back around.
That's facts.
I think, you know, some people don't like the word manifestation. I just think it's like, speak it into the universe. Whatever you believe in, if you say it out loud, I think like mentally something happens where like you say it, you write it down, you do the steps instead of like, oh, I want to be rich. No, get specific, because then you'll start to realize, if you're the type of person that I am, that Alex is, that Teddy is, that Saram is, like, if you have the goal, then you'll start breaking down what it takes to get there.
Absolutely.
Get specific on what that goal is and be real. Set real expectations for it. And once that happens, it'll just...
Renny, you're Teddy, so literally, Teddy showed me a tweet that he made. Ted, I don't remember the tweet, but it was along the lines of, I think you tweeted this in like 2018, that at some point, you're gonna travel the world. Like literally, he showed me that tweet, and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. I mean, a lot of these things are lessons for me as well, too. I'm like, man, it's so incredible how things work. And now Teddy's literally traveling the world. How did that happen? I don't know. God decided to use Seram as the conduit for, you know, it's like things just happen, and that's why, you know, it's so important for us to set goals, for us to like really, really consciously think about the things that you want, not the things that you don't want, because that's also like, that's also you putting certain thoughts and energies out there, you know, like. And
narrowing, because you never know how you're gonna receive it, right? Like, you never know how it's gonna come to you.
Facts.
So you can't be specific, but don't reject anything, because you don't know how it will come.
Yeah, that form, that's facts, that's facts.
But similar to Teddy's story, like, I said to myself, like, you know, my biggest goal is to be able to travel for work and to love my work. And I couldn't say that 2 years ago, right? But I can say now, full time, I can travel for work, I can travel and work, and I love what I do. Like that, I've already reached that. So anything else is surface level, right? Anything else is materials. Anything else is just comfort. So I want to keep acquiring more money to do more things, to build more businesses, to help educate more Black and brown people. And then just to have comfortability for my own life. People say that money doesn't buy you happiness. No, but it got me here, right?
It got you to Dakar. It got you to Dakar.
So,
right.
Yeah, it allows you certain comfortabilities and luxuries that you wouldn't, you know, otherwise had if I just stayed at a you know, quote unquote normal job. With a steady pay rate of sorts.
No, that's real. That's real.
You know, he said you don't do this.
I do not do this. This is not what I do. They be keeping me on track though. Like so it's funny because this is another important part of just having a team, because a lot of times like people see something that you aren't able to see. Like you'll think that you're doing things perfectly until somebody else tells you. I love public speaking. I love being able to connect with people like yourself. And the other day, you know, working with Teddy and Saram literally told me something that I'm like, dang, I be long-winded as hell. Like when I'm talking, I just be talking, and it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
But he's like, yo, bro, like, instead of going 5 minutes, cut it down to 30 seconds. I was like, bro, you're tripping. You're actually tripping. I'm not doing that. And I did it. I'm like, dude, this is so much better.
Yeah.
And I heard myself. I see myself. Yo, it's like, you know, so having a strong team is so beneficial, you know. So.
And a trusted team too. You know they're saying these things because they want you, the content, and everything else to be better.
Facts.
It's not because they're trying to come at you any certain way, because they're not. No. Teddy just told you to speak up.
Teddy told me to speak up. I was like,
because he knows everyone listening is going to be like, thank you, Teddy.
Right.
Thank you, Teddy, because the next 30 minutes of this podcast is going to be way better than the first.
Yes, let's do it.
Now even I am speaking louder. Thank you.
Right. Teddy's the man.
Yes. So, okay. This is my Be About Your Business series. So I want to get a little more into the business side of things that you do, right?
Yeah.
So how do you maintain your regular job with this job? Is it remote work? Like, what is it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So most people, when they think about pharmacy, a pharmacist, you're working like, you know, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid,
that's what
maybe
I think.
A hospital.
Or like sales pharmacy. So like going to offices, doctors' offices, trying to sell something. That's what I see. Either the CVS thing or like a sales rep pharmacist.
Yeah. So what you're saying is absolutely correct. Those are pharmaceutical sales reps, but pharmaceutical sales reps a majority of them are not
certified.
They're not pharmacists.
Okay.
So I'm something called a medical science liaison, and my job is more the consulting realm of pharmacy. So I work for a drug company, and I consult with them. I'm pretty much the face of the drug company. And what I do is I essentially meet with doctors. And let's just say you're a doctor, right? You're a doctor and you treat patients with cancer. You have to, you have a patient that comes to you with, let's just say, colorectal cancer. It's like, what drug are you gonna use? So you have to be educated on that drug. So you get the drugs from the manufacturer, the drug company. So drug companies have these people like me called MSLs, and we meet with people like you, and we educate. We let you know, this is how this drug works. This is how this side effect, we educate you on specifics on the drug, so you're well informed, so you know how to actually prescribe it to your patients. And doctors are really, really smart, but doctors do so much, so much. So they need that extra, I would say, like, part of their brain to really understand drugs. So that's my medical job, and I'm so fortunate to have it because it's very, very hard to get into. It's very, very niche. So it gets very, very busy at times. Like, for example, after this, I'm actually going to, I'm flying to Paris on the 7th for a medical conference for 5 days. So I have to be there, right? So it's crazy. I have a travel company, but my actual job itself, I travel a lot too. So people be wondering, like, yo, how do you, like, I don't get it. Like, it just doesn't. My mom hit me up the other day. She was like, yo, are you still a pharmacist? She was actually mad serious. She did not know. I was like, yes, mom.
Is she still in Jersey?
She's still in Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still in Jersey. So I'm able to maintain this. Again, the biggest part is the team, the passion, but I do have a lot of flexibility with my job, because a lot of people, I read this tweet one time where it was saying that, like, everybody should have their own business. Like, why don't you have your own business? I was like, yo, bro, like, there's nothing wrong with being a 9-to-5. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I'm still a 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And I have my own business, so that's kind of just how I do everything. And it can be a lot, but if you actually have a reason, like, why you're doing it. I know that this year I meditate a lot. Like, meditation is actually, when we talk about what grounds you, I meditated yesterday in front of the private beach for like 30 minutes, and I be having these crazy, like, revelations, these crazy things that just inspire me. It's like, yo, you don't have to go the entrepreneur route. There's so much judgment in society now. Do whatever it is that makes you happy, but don't be mad if somebody's a W-2, and don't be mad if somebody's is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So that's kind of just how I keep everything going.
Yeah. So I'm like so interested because I do, social media managing and marketing for my clients, right? Yeah. I've had clients of all spectrums, of all followerships. I've started, pages from the ground up. I've helped, someone from 10K go up. I've helped someone from 35 go up, right? Yeah. So I've seen it all. I'm interested in, like, how the algorithm has like played a role in your success, because your pages have a lot of eyes on them. So I'm just like, where did that start? Like, because you know, we have the new reels and stuff like that are getting eyes everywhere, but back in like 2018 that wasn't the case. So what were you doing back then that you felt like set you apart?
So the thing is that with social media marketing, it's very interesting, right? Because short form video is what's in right now, and what happens is that people will say things like, you know, Instagram sucks. The thing is that Instagram doesn't suck. Like, you suck. Like, you got to figure out how to do this, you know, because it's like, it sucks if 100% of people are having a bad experience, you know. So yes.
Excuse me, Mother.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. So sorry.
She's comfortable. Come on. Come on now. Listen. Oh, thank you. No worries. So with social media marketing, it's interesting because so JetBlack Travel started in 2018. Right now we have almost 500,000 followers. That's like 4 years. The thing is, we were one of the very first travel companies going ham on Reels. So I have a guy, his name is Steve. He was actually on my trip, found his wife, got married this past December in Cape Town, South Africa. And I went to his wedding, and literally I was his best man. It was bananas. It was incredible.
That's crazy.
So he found his wife. There's like 4 people that actually got married, found their significant other on our trip. You know, so like, he's really, really good in marketing. And he'll always, like, we're really close. And like, he's the first person who told me, hey, Alex, so Instagram just let Reels, they just unveiled Reels. If I were you, I would start posting Reels. Yo, Renny, when I tell you from like April 2020, I think that's when, around that time is when Reels started, yo, to about like June 2021, we grew like 275,000 followers. It was like, we have like, I mean, now, you know, so like Gab Union follows us, Tyrese, like the Shade Room, like there's so many different celebrities that follow our page now. And I think it's because you know, with Reels, it's a little different now, right? Because everybody's doing this, so it's like the supply and demand thing. It's like, you know, it's so much supply on Instagram, so now you kind of just have to pivot elsewhere, right? So we grew significantly, and now our attention actually has changed to elsewhere, you know, which is TikTok, Facebook fan page right now, YouTube Shorts. If I was somebody who's coming up in business, go ham, because the thing about it is that like, there's a lot of supply on Instagram, and that's why, you know, you'll post something, you'll get like 100 views, you know, but a lot of people are not on YouTube Shorts.
Right.
It's literally shorts form video. And also Facebook fan pages, people are doing numbers right now, you know, so just taking those opportunities, like when somebody gives you jewels, yo, just do and see what happens. So that's really, I was lucky with, you know, with JetBlack, because many people weren't posting Reels, but we were going ham.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's so crazy that in that short, you had obviously the 200 as a foundation, but that short amount of time, 200K added, that's crazy.
It's wild. And you know, it's funny because I talk about JetBlack, but I often don't talk about my other business, which is Rousseau Doctores. So it's a 501c3, and that was the first company I started. Well, social media.
501c3, that's where you can donate?
Yeah, so it's a nonprofit.
A nonprofit,
yep, 501c3, yep. So I started that page, and the funny thing is that at that point, there weren't a lot of people posting Black doctors. So that gave us a lot of traction, you know. So I think based on because my comment before is like, there are people who say that, yo, social media is so bad now. Oh my gosh, Instagram's algorithm, it's crazy. I'm like, yo, bro, just like, figure it out. You know, literally figure it out, because so why are other people going viral? It's the content that it's you as a person. You have to find a way to change your content form up. So I also started posting on my page more. Now I have a team, and it's pretty dope. But like, yo, like if something doesn't work, it's like, okay, so you got to be a lifelong learner. You got to be willing to like learn what works, what doesn't work. But the problem is that people post something and they just give up.
Yeah.
You think everything is gonna go viral? You know, so.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have close to probably like 400 Reels posted since the Reels app came out. Around there. Yeah, it's just another form of content.
Yeah.
Do y'all have a YouTube page?
We do. So we have a YouTube. Our YouTube page is not. We're trying to build it up now. So we have about 1,000 subscribers, like 800, 900, something like that.
Is that where you put the footage that like is being taken now, throughout the trip? Like, do you put it into a long format, or you just dice it up?
No, we do.
Okay.
So that was. It's funny you asked that. That was actually the reason why I brought Teddy and Saram on, just like a media team, because Renny, there was a point when I was going on trips. For the most part, 2018 we started, up until 2021, I'll be going on trips. I'm doing the logistics. I'm connecting with the vendors. I'm connecting with our partners, the travelers, and I'm also recording the videos. It's not sustainable and it's not smart.
No.
But the thing is, you realize something in business is that you get, like, it's funny when somebody tries to tell you something about your own business, right? You get to a point where, okay, so now I'm at a point where the business that I have, it needs this requirement. The way that we're operating right now, we have to have a media team.
Yeah, the demand is high. Yeah. You need to scale, and you're also not a photographer.
I'm not. First of all, I am. First of all, I'm a beast too. I'm a beast.
Okay. But even me, like, I did an event the other day where I showed up as a photographer, and they didn't have a videographer, so I had my second camera on me, and I was like, all right, if you want to do this, we can do this.
Yeah.
But it's so hard, especially on your own, to like do video and photo. Like, you can't be fully immersed in either of the two. So I couldn't imagine being the organizer and being like, hey, let me try to do video, photo.
You can't. It's not only like, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, it's not gonna be good.
Yeah.
And what the funny thing about it is, because I was ignorant to this too, like having Teddy and Saram on has actually helped me like see the importance and the relevance of having a photographer on board. Like, it's not easy work. Like, to be able to capture video in a very cinematic fashion, to be able to take like, Saram posted a photo of us in Dubai, of a Nissan Maxima. He tagged me.
Saw that. That was crazy. Was that an ad? No.
It was not an ad. He's like, no. It was not an ad. It was not an ad.
We were on the desert. And I just felt like I had to do something, because I saw the task where I was like, the moment it looks like an opportunity.
Yeah. I'm like, did they respond to that? They did?
In the office,
Wow.
So that's another thing too. First of all, let's take Nissan out the fact. He's a cold photographer. Like, his work is out this world. So he has clients in Ghana. They both are part of the same team in Ghana. So anytime when they come on a JetBlack trip, they go back home and then they continue to do their work, right? But then the fact that he posted that, it was a sweet photo. Nissan picked it up. Yo, mad retweets. I was
You
like,
know what's
photo?
crazy? My mom sells Land Rover and Jaguars, so I see those photos often. I first thought it was a Discovery. I didn't even think it was a Nissan. I thought it was a Range. And I was like, wait, that's a Nissan?
It's crazy.
Because that literally looks like the kinds of photo shoots they do for Range Rover,
It's
like
wild.
in the dunes, like, yeah, y'all did that one.
Listen, that was Saram, man. Saram was so you get to just appreciate, like, I be in my world, in my medical world, I be in my travel world, but now it's like, dang, man. So these photographers, like, they know what they're doing. These videographers, these people who actually like are in the countries, like, there's so much talent out there. It's ridiculous. So it's like, put that talent on social media. Like, there's this weird thing, Renny. It's like, people have this, and I'm being a hypocrite, because I also used to be like this. It's like, when it comes to social media, I always ask myself, like, I get very, very, I'm pretty shy, I would say. Pretty shy.
Okay, Alex.
I am, no.
Known you for all of 3 days, and we feel like we've known each other for life.
Yeah, right, facts,
and you have not been acting shy.
No, but it's like, why not? Why not put ourselves out there? Because the thing, like, first of all, they had all the information they need about us, right? But now I look at it from the perspective of value. Renny, you do so much that is not part of my universe, and because of that, like, now I'm educated on the things that you do, and it's like, dang, it's like, it just informs my perspectives. Like, damn, like, now I can actually look at it like this way, and maybe like change my business strategy based on a conversation I had with you. It's like, damn, that is crazy. So I'll be honest with y'all. Like, what's happening right now is crazy, because, Teddy, to your point, this is the first time we actually have had a podcast on the trip. But moving forward, we're gonna do podcasts on the trip, and it's because of her.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the JetBlack Travel Podcast put in. I think okay. I'm just gonna say.
We're discussing it like after this. Let's have one.
Yo, yo, they know me well, yo. They know me well.
I gotta put the camera on y'all.
Yo,
I gotta put the camera on y'all.
We're just talking about.
It's crazy, yo.
After this,
Let's do podcast on every trip. At least one.
at least one. But the point is that, yo, it's crazy because it's like being here and connecting with Renny. If I did not connect with Renny, if we didn't connect with Renny, that thought would not have come. So even this opportunity inspires something else that actually would be beneficial for my business. Yeah. It's like, yo, like what are you open to? Like, be open to people.
So my idea is y'all have one free day just to have a free day.
Yeah.
And then you have one content collaboration free day where like that's your time to like, you know, if someone's got a podcast, like jump on. If someone like, you know, Naeem's got his own podcast too. I want to have him on mine. So like just in the, you know, 28 of us?
27.
27. Just in the 27 of us, we have so many people who do all these things, right? Like we have Val, who's like clearly content creator. Sure. Like we have me. So I feel like if you put in at another day for just a little more media, you know what I mean? Like, and like it could be a different concept every single time, like depending on where you are. Maybe you're sitting down for 5 minutes with each member, right? And you're just shooting the shit. And maybe the next one it's you and one other person, and then maybe you know
it's gold. No, it's literally. So Teddy, do we need another Sony camera? We'll let the manager talk. Commander. Do we? No, seriously though, because it's like, because I mean, obviously, I think you guys are well immersed in this space, but like, I was asking, I feel like trivial questions, like, let's just do it here, because anytime when I see podcasts, they have two angles.
Yeah.
I don't really see it from the master lens, you know, so, but yeah, it's real.
Yeah, and to your point, another thing that reminds me of is that I need to get that 2-camera setup. You know what I mean? Like I usually, if I need a second camera, I'll rent it. But at this point, I'm just like, I need it. You know?
I feel you.
Because I love that other perspective.
Yeah.
Especially in like a genuine conversation like this.
Yeah.
It's dope. So.
Most definitely.
Man, what's our next group trip?
It's crazy. What's the next group trip? Yo, so we're in Dakar, Senegal. We're actually going to, it's called the Taste of Africa. That's the name I just came up with, the Taste of Africa, which is Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. Wow. So it's 3 countries, 9 days. So, oh
wait, that's the one trip?
That's one trip. That's taking place literally next month, October. And we have like 37 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So that should be a vibe. The thing about that is that it's very different. First of all, we don't have any other trips. That's the only trip that we have where it's 3 countries. So, you know, as you grow, you start to refine certain things, right? We used to go to just Jamaica. We'll go to like Cuba. Now we're doing international trips. We'll go to South Africa. But now it's like, okay, so how can we actually give more travelers the most amount of value for their money? So we're starting to combine trips. So why would we go to just Zambia? Literally, Zimbabwe is an hour away. Like Botswana is an hour away. Like we have a trip to Spain and Morocco, which sold out like last October, and that trip is 2 countries. So we go to Spain, Barcelona for 4 days, and then we fly to Morocco for 3 days. Now they see literally 2 countries. We have Egypt and Jordan, you know. So it's kind of, because with the whole, again, it goes back to what is it? You got to ask yourself in business, why am I doing what I do? And for me, I've always asked myself that question in various phases of my business. Now for me, it's like, it's so much bigger than just travel. People look at me like, yo, you're living the life. You're traveling, and it's like yeah, right? That's cool and all, but it's like this. It's so much deeper.
You're the facilitator. Right. Like you're the person who brings everyone together to have the experience that people think you experience on the daily. Yes, you're with us. Yes, you're having a good time. But that mentality is totally and completely different from, oh shit, I'm on an organized trip. Like, you need to book, especially because you can write it off for your own business. Book with someone else and take your own trip.
So, so because you was mentioning, I need to take my own solo trips.
Yeah.
I with other companies, and I did that last year in Colombia. I did it with a company called Discover Giddy. Incredible company. Like I had a good time, and interestingly, they actually run trips to Cartagena, Colombia, and we have our own trips to Medellin, Colombia. But I've never been to Cartagena, and I'm like, yo, this is incredible. You know, one thing that I realized with I think. And this is my personal opinion. I think a lot of travel companies do very, very similar things. They'll provide you with the same
experience.
Types of experience.
Yeah.
You know, you'll have the cultural immersion, you'll have the party, you'll have the, there's so many different things, but I definitely need to do that more because it gets very, very, not necessarily overwhelming, but it's like, bro, just to take myself out of my own.
For sure.
Scope, yeah.
Does JetBlack do any domestic trips, within the U.S.?
Yeah, so that's actually one of the things that we wanted a new division. So right now we're pretty much like JetBlack International. A very hyper focused on Africa. But one of the things I was thinking about was actually, I had a conversation with a girl from the U.S. She's actually a project manager. I'm like, yo, I really want to start JetBlack domestic trips because the thing is that to open it up for people who can't really travel internationally, but also, there are a lot of dope places in the U.S.
Dope, like Arizona, loved Arizona.
Yeah.
Where else can I think of? California. California is so vast and wide. I've never been to LA. I've flown into LA and immediately left. But I was in Joshua Tree, which is very different from when I was in, Southern California, Laguna, Malibu type. Yeah. So there's extremely beautiful places and places that will take you out of your own, I've never hiked a mountain as high as I did in California in Connecticut. And people love hiking in Connecticut. That's where I live.
Oh, true.
So I live 50 minutes outside of New York City. I grew up in the city. But yeah, I'll hike on I'll do a 7-mile hike. I went to California. I did a 1.5 or something. But the terrain, the heat, the hill, it was just different. I felt like I had done 8 miles.
That's crazy.
So different perspective, different experience. I love when somewhere makes me feel small. So California,
interesting.
Tucson, Arizona, that view came straight from Google wallpaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those boulders make you feel so small, make you feel so, again, like you said, insignificant, which fuels me more, right? The fact that I'm so small makes me want to work harder and touch more people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a real, man, there's a lot that you just said that, powerful.
Yeah.
There's so when I was, I moved from Vegas to Atlanta. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia now, but when I was living in Vegas, I was a medical consultant there. So I was covering the western part of the country, all the way to Alaska. So I've been to Alaska twice. Wow. And Alaska's a very interesting place. And I was thinking to myself, dang, I don't see black people in Alaska. Yeah. I don't see black people in Aspen, Colorado. I don't see black people in Montana. I was covering
Montana.
Billings.
Yeah.
Billings, Montana. So Billings, Montana. I've covered a lot of Washington State, Wyoming. So I've had all these different experiences. So now it's we gotta put ourselves in those places, to really, really, just one trip can spark a very, very interesting thought, and now that becomes, something else. So we're thinking about that right now. Our trips next year are pretty much, they are all international, and a lot of them are sold out already. So now we have to think do we want to open up a second wave? Do we want to do trips? Cuba, I just heard, is open. I didn't know that.
What do you mean it's open?
So for a long time we weren't able to travel to Cuba.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
because of COVID?
Well, because the relationship between America and the Cuban government. Yeah.
Okay.
Also because of COVID, and Cuba, that was our first trip. So now I'm like, damn. Okay, so why not go back to Cuba? There's so many people that want to go back to Cuba. So we may actually start doing things where a weekend trip, literally from Thursday to Sunday. We go to Cuba, we go to Mexico, we go to Costa Rica. A lot of these places, because when we went to Cuba, it was only 4 days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
I feel like we could talk for hours.
Mad long.
Yeah, we could talk for hours, y'all. Let us know if you want a part 2.
Sure.
And we'll make it happen on the next trip because there's just so much to unpack.
Yeah,
I feel like we will overwhelm the people if we give it to them all in one breath. But this is not the last of Alex and Renny Faux Show. Yeah. Not in business, not in friendship. This ain't the last of it.
For sure.
Yeah, we got a lot of great things coming for the two of us, for us as a collective. I mean, you are doing great things. I mean, the amount of connections, people that I've met, like, we're on day 3.
It's wild.
We're on day 3.
It's wild. It's pretty crazy. It's been a movie.
It's really been a movie. So I will put some B-roll up. I will share some of that trip with y'all so you could see. Just incredible. If I could leave them with anything, I'm going to leave them with the fact that go see the world. See it in whatever way is natural, organic, and feels good to you. What you have in your capacity as far as your, social battery and your financials. So whether that's maybe taking a road trip to somewhere you've never been alone, or participating in a JetBlack travel experience, two different extremes, and there's a lot of things that you can do in the middle. But I think just go out and do it, and don't be scared to go alone, right? Like, the whole point of why I booked with y'all was because I wanted a solo trip. I didn't want anyone I knew to come with me, and I didn't want to meet anyone I know, right? Like, touchdown, okay, you picked me up from the airport, okay, cool.
Right.
But I wanted an experience, and I wanted to be around people. So it just all happened so perfect and nice. And I can't even be more grateful.
Yeah.
Do you want what are you leaving them with?
Oh man, I would say just be open. Be open to opportunities. Be open to people. People aren't that bad. It's kind of a funny idea, but it's like people are actually not that bad. There's something that you said on your Instagram page. Like, you had another interview and you literally told the person, I will literally slide in your DMs and all I will say is let's connect. 2 words, let's connect. And that opens up so many different things. So it's funny, DJ MD of the Breakfast Club, literally I seen an interview and I literally slid in his DMs through the JetBlack page, and literally he said that he's open to going to Cairo, Egypt with us next year. So that's number 1. Like, I mean, there's been so many different, the shade room, literally just from one message, like, hey, we're partnered with, for our Dubai trip, we're partnered with the tourism board. So literally sent them a message like, yo, y'all open to partner? Like, we're pretty cool. Like, we'll take care of y'all trip. Obviously, see how that looks and everything. Oh, we got a partnership with the shade room. And I'm only saying those things because it's like, it's what you said, like, let's connect. We be so scared to leave our comfort zone for whatever reason. And the truth is, I always say this, rejection is protection and redirection. If I shoot a shot at somebody and it's like, I get rejected, I don't. Yeah, you feel me? Like, I don't look at it. I mean, I've evolved in my thinking. I don't look at it as, like, I got rejected, so, oh man, I start to soak. It's like, no, I got redirected, protected and then now redirected. So take the other opportunity now. So it's like you're just always constantly being moved into a space of greater opportunity. So you talk about you shoot your shot, girl. Look, I be shooting even to this day in the medical field, in the travel business, in the social media marketing business. There's like social media marketing. I would say I'm pretty I've learned a lot. But there are people who are so much better than me. And from them and what they actually do, I'm like, okay, so what can I learn? So be open to connecting and be open to really, really like ruffling your framework. Yeah. Because we get so stuck in our way of being. It's like, bro, get out your comfort zone, bro. Yeah. And then, that'll open up a series of greater opportunities, All
right, last thing I'm going to say. From what you said, it's funny you say that because since a little girl, I've always said this thing. I've always told my friends the worst they could say is no. So like when we were asking our parents, like, oh, can I sleep over at someone's house? And they would get so worked up and so scared. I'm like, the worst they could say is no. Like, your mom's not going to smack you in the face for asking.
Facts. You're not going to go to jail.
Right.
Like,
so whether the person never sees your message or, like you said, there's rejection that is, you know, in turn protection and redirection. Yep. The worst they could literally say is no. And especially on social media, no one can smack you through the screen, sis. They can block you, but...
They can block you, but you're being protected.
Right.
For whatever reason. You don't even have to... The crazy thing is that, to your point, you actually don't even have to understand the why. It's like, I submit my application or my resume to this company. They didn't even respond back. Yo, it's cool. Mm-hmm. It's like, just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
The beauty of... everything that we're doing is that the world is insanely abundant. I don't think people really understand. The world is abundant. Like there's if you want to find a community of people who, I don't know, like just some random shit, like there are communities for so that means that like there's a community for you, you know, so don't get scared of shooting your shot. Like literally go out there, meet with people, and if you're introverted, that's also cool too. Yo, connect on social media. Yeah. And opportunities, man, they're
abundant.
They're out here.
Dude, money is abundant.
What? Oh, don't see this. See.
I know. We're gonna keep talking.
No,
we're gonna
don't start, yo, because money.
Yo,
bro, that's another thing.
When we think we're down bad, like globally and like, you know, just nationally in the States, like. We're down bad. They not down bad.
Yeah.
Just know there's money to be had. There's money to be taken.
Yep.
But it comes with time. All right, we're gonna end it.
I appreciate it.
We're gonna end it. It's done.
We're done. Teddy and Sarah, I'm like, these niggas. Nah, it was a pleasure. I appreciate you.
So, I mean, if you don't know about them already, I will drop all the links to Alex, to Saram, to Teddy, to JetBlack Travel, so you can catch up with everything we've done so far on this trip and anything they do afterwards.
Yeah, appreciate you. Hugs. It was dope.
All right, guys.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
No, seriously, what is this place?
This is heaven.
Early morning wake ups, practicing on day offs. Tough love, bubbled up, no chaser. Loving you is harder than I thought. You got a reputation breaking heart.
Really trabaje, make you know they shalaje. I don't want nobody to keep my matter killer. For this life I live, I want to be celebrated. Don't wanna waste my days, I want to spend them on enjoyment. It's been too long, but then it's you.
Bitch sit on my face, I attack that. Bitch sit on my face, I attack that. Check it out.
I just wanna rewind. I haven't seen you in a long time. You got me feeling so lonely. Even when you come through, I can tell that it isn't you. So baby, bring it in closely. Hate the way I love you, but you're so sweet. I always run away.
Every second, every minute, man, I swear that she can get it. Say if you a bad bitch, put your hands up high, hands up high, hands up high. Tell them dim the lights down right now, put me in the mood. I'm talking about dark room perfume.
Baby, you got something in your nose, sniffing that K, did you feel the hole? Hope you find peace for yourself, new boyfriend ain't gon' feel the void.